stories that have a moral imperative, whether it be good or bad, right? But you're able to see that. So how, I mean, from a director's lens, because I just, I'm an observer. I'm a Capricorn by nature, so I just observe people. And you're able to, you can sense lighting, you can sense a person's motion, you pick out the tiniest details. How were you able to translate that to storytelling? Because that's a unique gift. Everybody don't have that.
It's part of storytelling.
Really?
Lighting is part of storytelling.
Yes.
When we did 227, I did the pilot for 227. They got upset with me. They said, Oz, there's shadows. When she was sitting on the stoop, Marla was sitting on the stoop, there was shadows on one side of her face. And they used to light coming from everywhere. It's sort of like, no. And I said, no, the sun is over there. This is the afternoon. This is when people sit around and talk.
Right.
I said, and the lighting design, we had just made a light source.
Yeah.
And they were like, but, and they were like, I said, hey, you laughing, leave it alone. But that's telling a story. We always, I look for things to help. Visuals help tell the story. Props help tell the story. When I direct, I block because Cleavon Little was a good friend of mine. And I remember when I first met him, I was out at his house. I spent the day there, and we talked. And then we would talk for maybe 20 minutes, half an hour, and then we just sort of drift off. The beach was right there, or this was there. People don't always look at you, and I get very upset when I see actors who are like, I got to say my line eye to eye.
Right.
That ain't the way you sit there.
Right.
I'm cooking.
Right. Yeah.
NCIS New Orleans, I'm doing an episode, and this guy, I said, you got 2 kids in the other room. And basically, all you're doing is giving us information.
Right.
But what's going to make this scene interesting is you making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That's all you're doing. And they ask you some questions.
Yeah.
And they'd ask, did you see the murder or whatever? And he would like, no, I didn't see him. And I'm like, stop.
Right.
Them kids in the other room are more important than these cops in this kitchen.
Right.
Because we all know what that means.
Right, yeah.
Because them kids get hungry, they gonna,
Yeah.
And so I beat him up, and then finally he was making, and it was interesting, you probably listened to him better when he was sitting there talking, this happened, and this happened, boom, things, that's because that's who you are.
Right.
We are what we do.
Yeah.
And so for me as the director, I'm always looking to see who we are as what we do. I'm looking at your paintings around here. And what's great about these paintings is what people are doing.
Right.
That you're fascinated. Oh my, that's what tells us. And that's what inspires us. And that's what we put ourselves into those paintings.
Right.
And say, I could have been that, or my grandfather or my great-grandfather could have been there.
Right.
And that's telling us a story. I did I'm sorry if I keep talking.
No, this is great. This is great.
I was doing a science.
I'm gonna jump in when it's time.
Okay. I've been on the board of the Directors Guild. That's a good story too, because there was one time I didn't see no black people on the board. I said, somebody got to go on the board. So I got on the board, but I was doing a science sort of speed dating where we had a bunch of scientists up. I mean, we had a neurobiologist, we had a roboticist, we had some, and it was like about 100, people. And when I was the host, and I said to them, the way I think about life, because science is very important to me too, because we can get into that. I said, people need specifics, and this group I work with, when you do a film, you can come to this entertainment and science exchange, and you can get a scientist to tell you, to give you, like, we're doing something on earth scientists. It's a married couple. Really, it's not about, but how does earth science affect their marriage? Oh, we got a couple who are earth scientists.
Right.
You can talk to them.
Yeah.
And you get those specifics. And what I said as we started, we had one guy who was with the NSA who was, a big, and he was, I can't tell you everything, but he said, Oz is right. It's the specifics
Yeah.
that make us fascinated. It's the specifics that we have to deal with and talk about, because those specifics influence us and who we are, and who it's just boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy gets girl back again. Classic structure.
Yeah. Right.
Ain't nobody care about boy meeting a girl. Ain't nobody care about him losing. Ain't nobody care if, he gets it back.
Yeah, right.
What they care about is, how did he meet her?
Yeah, yeah.
What happened to break them up? What was the moment that they realized they really loved each other?
Yeah.
Those are the specifics in film, in theater, in storytelling.
Yeah.
People want to know the specifics of a person's life.
Right.
And in the church, I'm sure it's the same thing.
Yeah.
People, you tell stories to give people specifics to say, oh, that's how they did it.
Yeah.
But as we say, it's your responsibility to figure out how you're going to do it.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, and you hit on so many things. I'm going to just back into some of the stuff that you talked about, because you just gave us an encyclopedia of really life. A couple of things I want to just touch on that you talked about is that really we see now the infusion of social media because of the simple fact that it gives us a doorway into all of these lives, right? I think the genius of really your directorship and your ability to have so many stories on film that gave us, or really just shaped our lives, right? The Cosby Show, nobody can take that away, right? Seeing the sweaters, seeing the dress, seeing the conversations, seeing how Felicia Rashad go from sister girl to elegant queen, right? All of those things kind of gave us nuances on how to act. And I often say in leadership, you cannot lead beyond your exposure, right? Now, you said a couple other things I just want to address, especially around the sermon. I remember early on, I'm preaching for 30 years plus. I remember early on, I preached a lot of doctrinal sermons, telling people, quote unquote, how to live, but they never connected. The moment that allegory, illustration enters into the conversation of the sermon, that's when people light up, right? And so to your point, understanding how to paint the picture becomes the caveat that draws people in. I want to shift the conversation a little bit, and I'm gonna come back to this part because this is just like super rich, and I don't wanna lose anything for people to see. And please make sure you tell everybody to watch the Leverage podcast, Oz Scott, because I'm telling you, he's dropping gems.